Hi everyone, this is Abhinav from PhoneBunch and welcome to our full review of the Meizu M2 Note. Now this one comes with a 5.5-inch 1080p IXO display. You have Asahi Dragon Trail glass protection up top, MediaTek MT6753 octa-core processor with Mali T720 GPU, 2 gigs of RAM, 16 gigs of expandable storage, a 13 megapixel rear, 5 megapixel front facing camera and unibody construction. We'll talk about the rest of the specs as we go along, but let's get to the build now. Moving to the right of the device, you have your SIM card slots. You have a hybrid micro SD and nano SIM card slot over here. So you can either use two separate SIM cards or one SIM card and a micro SD card as I'm using right now. This is a 4G LTE cable device and both Indian bands are supported. Overall, the design is very nice on this smartphone. You have your 3.5mm audio jack noise cancellation mic up top, very clicky volume buttons as well as the power button on the left. Excellent feedback there. At the bottom you have your loudspeaker, micro USB data syncing and charging port along with the primary microphone. The construction is really superb on this device. Yes, it does remind you of the iPhone a little bit, but overall very sturdy construction here, even though it's made out of plastic. At the back you have a 13 megapixel camera and you can see it's absolutely flush with the surface. You have a dual tone LED flash there as well. The buttons are a bit awkward to use if you are a right-handed person because they are located on the left, but they have adequate feedback. Coming to the top, you have a 5 megapixel camera, proximity and light sensors. Along with the main earpiece, there is no notification LED. At the bottom you just have a single button which has three different functionalities. It behaves as the back button, it also behaves as the power key and as the home button as well. We'll talk about it in a short while from now. Now you have a 5.5-inch 1080p IXO display protected by Asahi Dragon Trail glass, so it's scratch resistant. Moreover, the viewing angles are very wide. It's quite a sharp panel at around 401 pixels per inch. You don't notice any distortion, brightness or colors as you see here as well. If you don't like the default configuration of the display, you can play around with the color temperature between warm or cold. It's calibrated quite well. Now if we come to network and call quality, we didn't have any major issues there. Network reception was very good. In fact, 4G reception was particularly good in our area. But yes, this phone does get hot while you're talking. You do have call recording built in, automatic call recording, a harassment filter are baked in as well. But yes, as I was saying, this phone does get a bit hot if you are talking for more than 30 odd minutes on calls. Now you do have Wi-Fi hotspot, Bluetooth and USB tethering. They are hidden in dual SIM and network settings in the portable hotspot section, and these two work out quite well. GPS is also available and it does work out quite fine with the aid of the magnetic field sensor. Coming to the imaging department, you have a 13 megapixel rear camera which uses a Samsung sensor. It does work out quite well, although the shutter speeds are really not that great. It does take a little bit of time to save images. The camera interface, however, is pretty robust. You have some filters baked in, you have a manual mode, beauty mode, a light field. There are actually several modes that you can go through. You can record 1080p videos with the rear camera and the front camera as well. And you can choose storage. HDR mode is also available over here. I can see right there the front facing camera captures images rather well too. Not a lot of noise, even though the lighting is really not that great over here. Now here are some of the samples. You can see quite a lot of sharpness in these images. Yes, there is a bit of over sharpening going on here. You can clearly see that in these images. However, distant shots also do turn out well. Focusing is actually quite quick. The camera is able to adjust exposure well too. And you can see a bit of over sharpening in all these images, especially in these 100% crops. But there is quite a lot of detail. The over sharpening actually helps on that front. Moreover, this camera blurs the background a little bit more than what you are used to, giving that extra depth of field to the image. So overall, this is a pretty decent camera, especially in outdoor conditions with good amount of lighting. It focuses in quick, the images turn out quite sharp with lots of details, and the color reproduction is really excellent. Even macro shots do turn out quite well as you see here. So this camera is capable of taking great shots outdoors, and even in low light, the camera does work out quite well. The flash definitely helps in that aspect. You can see here too, the camera remains color accurate even if there is a lot of noise in low light images. You can see the comparison shot here too. Flash is definitely quite helpful. The HDR mode in low light really doesn't work that well. but then again the flash is your best friend over there. Overall, very decent front and rear cameras on the Meizu M2 Note. I do have continuous autofocus available in videos, but the video quality really isn't something that you would write to home about. It's just about decent. There's not a lot of artifacting here. Have a listen to the audio. Hi everyone, this is Abhinav from PhoneBunch, and right now we are recording a video sample with the Meizu M2 Note. Exposure compensation is pretty good in videos as well. Now this is the default music player. It's actually quite robust. You can create your own playlists. You can set a timer for playing tracks as well. Moreover, you do have an equalizer built in. You can change between the different presets. You have Dirac HD sound available as well, which you can customize based on which earphones you are using. Now we are playing a 1080p video. It's in MKV format, and again it's playing quite well. You can pop out the video player as well. It's all built in. No issues with performance here. Now we are playing a 1080p video. It's over YouTube, and again streaming video works fine. The speakerphone is actually quite loud and it's clear as well. It does distort a little bit at full volume. Now coming to software, this phone is running Android 5.1 Lollipop right out of the box. You have your quick toggles right up top. You don't have the settings icon there. It's actually present on the home screen, as are all the different icons as well. There is no separate app drawer. You do have widgets available over here. You just need to long tap on any of the home screens to get the widgets going. If you swipe from the top, you get access to all the quick toggles, and if you swipe from the bottom, you have access to universal search, so you can search for apps as well as files which are available on your device. Now as I was saying, the home button actually has 3 different functionalities baked into it. If you just tap on it, it behaves as a capacitive back button. If you press it, it behaves as the home key. If you long tap it, it behaves as the power button and switches off the display. And if you press it again, it behaves as the power key. So lots of functionality baked in over here. You can see that we are running Android 5.1 Lollipop with Flyme OS 4.5 on the device right out of the box. Now out of that 16 gigs of storage, you have about 10 odd gigs available when you get the device. You can expand storage with a micro SD card, but then you would have to sacrifice a SIM card slot. Now USB OTG is also supported over here. I'll just play a 720p video right off the USB disk, and you can see that it actually plays quite fine from here. Now memory management is actually pretty decent over here. You can also see that we have about 800 odd MB free right now, even though there are multiple apps running in the background. You can just swipe from the bottom to open up the task manager or the recent apps tray, and you can switch between tasks very easily from here. Just tap on any task and you get right into it. You can also swipe up any task to kill it. Now I do have double tap to wake, but there is one more gesture which is actually quite useful. It's called Smart Touch. So you can use it to switch between different apps. You will see that white dot right there. You can switch between all the different open apps from there. You can move that around as well. You can assign different functionalities to it, like dragging from the top down. It opens up the notification tray and such. Now through all our testing, performance was never an issue on this device. You can see that web browsing is very smooth, pinch to zoom works out great, and even in general the touch response is very good on this device. This display, even though is a bit reflective, it is quite visible outdoors too. There is just a slight delay in opening up of apps, but that is just the animation. This phone actually performs quite well. And if I just switch back to Chrome after opening so many apps, you can see that it's still in memory. So memory management is very good as well. Now if we talk about battery life, you were able to get 1 full day of usage with this device, but battery life is a bit inconsistent. Sometimes you're able to get more than 3 hours of screen on times, and at other times just about 2 to 2.5 hours max. So yes, there is a bit of battery drain over here as well, especially when you are on Wi-Fi. But these can be fixed with OTA updates. Overall general performance, app loading times, touchscreen response, as well as battery life is pretty decent for a smartphone with a 5.5-inch display and a 3100 mAh battery, which in this case is non-removable. Now in gaming as well, the phone actually did perform quite well. There was a bit of a hiccup with some of the higher end games, and the major issue that we have encountered while gaming was this phone gets heated up very quickly, even reaching to temperatures of about 48 to 49 degrees with few minutes of high-end gaming. Well folks, that was a full review of the Meizu M2 Note. The major issue with this is not actually with the device itself, but Meizu's service centers in India. The company is still planning to set up service centers We don't have any information as to when they would be operational. At present, service is probably being provided through Amazon. So they just replace your phone in case of any issue, or they try to fix it through their customer care. But yes, the company is planning for doorstep service as well as opening up different service centers across the country, and we'll see how that pans out. Second, this phone does get hot while talking as well as while playing games, or for that matter any type of performance intensive tasks. So given the non-availability of service centers in India, plus you have better battery life on the Asus Zenfone 2, I would recommend going for that instead of this one at the present moment. So if you can live with these issues and aren't really concerned about the service centers in India, then the Meizu M2 Note is definitely a good enough option. We'll be back with more. Don't forget to hit that subscribe and like button. Thanks for watching the video. If you have any questions, let us in the comment section, and as always, have a great day.